Do you wake up every morning carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders? Unpaid debts? Do you find yourself working day and night only to see your paycheck vanish as soon as it arrives, going straight to credit card bills, car loans, the mortgage, leaving nothing behind for yourself? This is the reality millions of Americans face, and maybe you're in the same place too. In the best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, he doesn't offer flashy tips or quick fixes. Instead, he lays out a clear, step-by-step, practical plan to get out of debt, build an emergency fund, and ultimately achieve financial freedom. This isn't just a book, it's a roadmap, a lifeline for anyone drowning in debt. Join me as we dive into this audiobook summary. If you're ready to transform your financial life, make sure to listen until the end. And don't forget to hit like and follow the channel so you won't miss other life-changing books that can shift your financial mindset and bring you closer to wealth and peace of mind. Part 1. Baby Step 1. Building a $1,000 emergency fund. Imagine this. One morning you're driving to work when suddenly your tire blows out. You reach for your wallet and realize you only have a few crumpled bills left. What happens next? For most Americans, the answer is simple. Swipe the credit card. And just like that, debt piles on top of debt. Dave Ramsey calls this the dangerous cycle so many families fall into. Even a small financial shock can drag them deeper into debt. That's why the very first step in the Total Money Makeover is to set aside a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, you might be thinking, $1,000? That's nothing. How can that possibly cover the big stuff? But this fund isn't meant to be an investment or a long-term savings account. It's your safety cushion, a buffer for life's unexpected expenses. Things like a car repair, a surprise medical bill, a broken washing machine, or even a traffic ticket. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans don't even have $400 on hand for an emergency. That means even a minor setback could push them straight into debt. Your $1,000 fund becomes that first line of defense, protecting you from falling into the hands of banks and credit card companies every time life throws a curveball. So how do you come up with $1,000 quickly? Dave offers some very practical advice. Do whatever legal work you can to bring in cash. Sell the things you no longer need, clothes, old electronics that bite collecting dust in the garage. Pick up extra shifts on the weekends or take on short-term freelance work. Cut unnecessary spending for just 1 or 2 months. Dave shares stories of people who scraped together their first $1,000 in just a couple of weeks by selling items on eBay or hosting a garage sale. The key is urgency. You have to treat this like a sprint, not a marathon. And once you've got that $1,000 sitting safely in your account, you'll feel the difference immediately. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing a small emergency won't drag you back into the quicksand of debt. It's only the beginning, but it's the foundation for building a stronger, more secure financial future. Part 2. Baby Step 2. The Debt Snowball. Now that you've built your $1,000 emergency fund, Dave Ramsey says it's time to face the real monster, debt. According to Experian, the average American carries more than $96,000 in debt: credit cards, student loans, car loans, and other consumer debt. These aren't just cold numbers on a piece of paper. They're the stress you feel every time the phone rings, the restless nights worrying about the next collection notice from the bank. So how do you break free? Dave Ramsey introduces his famous method, the Debt Snowball. The principle is simple. List all your debts, from smallest to largest. Focus all your energy on paying off the smallest debt first while still making minimum payments on the rest. Once that first debt is gone, roll the payment you were making into the next debt. Repeat the process. With each debt eliminated, the money you free up grows, like a snowball, rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger. Some people ask, why not pay off the highest interest debt first, to save money? The answer lies in human behavior. Paying off a small debt quickly gives you a powerful sense of victory, a mental and emotional boost that keeps you motivated. That momentum is often the difference between success and giving up halfway. Dave shares the story of a couple in Texas. They earned just over $50,000 a year, but were drowning in nearly $70,000 of credit card and consumer debt. They started with their smallest balance, just $600. Within weeks, it was gone. Next came a $1,000 balance, then $2,000. After each debt disappeared, they celebrated with a simple dinner. And after more than 2 years of persistence, they were completely debt-free. The debt snowball isn't just about math, it's about psychology. Personal finance is not just arithmetic, it's behavior. And Ramsey knows that emotions drive our decisions far more than logic. As you work the debt snowball, you'll feel the weight lifting off your shoulders with each debt that disappears. No more dodging calls from the bank, no more dread when opening the mailbox. Instead, you'll feel control, clarity, and the confidence that you're finally on the right track. Part 2 ends with a powerful reminder. Stay persistent. Eliminate debt step by step and don't wait for a miracle, because financial freedom doesn't come from winning the lottery. It comes from the small, consistent choices you make every single day. Part 3. Baby Step 3. The Fully Funded Emergency Fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. You've built your starter $1,000 emergency fund. You've also begun tackling your debts with the debt snowball. Now it's time for the next stage, creating a fully funded emergency fund, equal to 3 to 6 months of your family's basic living expenses. Why so much? Imagine losing your job unexpectedly. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average unemployed person takes about 5 months to find new work. Without a safety net, what happens? Out come the credit cards, the debt piles back on, and everything you just worked so hard for in baby step 2 could collapse. A 3 to 6 month emergency fund acts as your shield against life's bigger surprises. A medical emergency that lands you in the hospital, a major car repair costing several $1,000s, or, as we all saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, millions of Americans losing their jobs in just a matter of weeks. Dave Ramsey emphasizes this point. Once you have this fund, you'll live with a completely different mindset. No more fear of layoffs. No more stress if your child gets sick and you have to take time off work. You know you have time, space, and financial breathing room. Take the example of a family in Ohio earning about $60,000 a year. Their basic monthly expenses, housing, car payments, food, insurance, totaled around $3,500. After paying off their debts, they started saving for their emergency fund. Their target was 4 months of expenses, about $14,000. It took them nearly 18 months to get there, but once they did, they said, for the first time in our lives, we could sleep peacefully without the fear of what tomorrow might bring. Most importantly, Ramsey warns this is not spending money. It's not for vacations, shopping sprees, or upgrades. Think of it like the windshield on your car. You hope you'll never need it, but when life throws something at you, it's the very thing that protects you. By the time you've built your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, you've reached a new level of financial freedom, security, and from here, you'll finally have the foundation to start building real wealth. Part 4. Baby Step 4. Invest 15% of your income for the future. Once you're debt-free and have a fully funded 3 to 6 month emergency fund, it's time to turn the page to a whole new chapter, building long-term wealth through investing. Dave Ramsey recommends investing 15% of your household income into retirement accounts or the stock market. But why 15%? Not more, not less. If you invest less, you risk not having enough to live comfortably in retirement. If you invest more, you might shortchange other important goals, like paying for your children's education or paying off your home. 15% strikes the balance. It allows you to live well today while also securing tomorrow. Now, let's look at the power of compound interest, what Albert Einstein once called the 8th wonder of the world. Imagine you're 30 years old, earning $60,000 a year, and you consistently invest 15% of your income. That's $9,000 a year, or $750 a month. If you place that money in an S&P 500 index fund with an average historical return of 10% annually, by age 65, you could have around $3 million. all from discipline and time. Ramsey stresses one important truth. Investing is not about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich for sure. He advises focusing on diversified mutual funds rather than gambling on hot stocks or cryptocurrency hype. In fact, studies show that over 70% of Americans who try to time the market fail. The real winners are the steady investors who let their money sit, let time do the work, and stay consistent. For example, a couple in Texas, both working in education, earned a combined $80,000 a year. When they reached baby step 4, they faithfully invested 15% of their income for 20 years. The result? They became millionaires before the age of 55, not by luck, but by discipline. And the best part of this step isn't the millions in your account, it's the freedom that money brings. Freedom to retire early if you choose. Freedom to take a job you love, not just one that pays the bills. Freedom to spend more time with your kids, your grandkids, and on the adventures that matter most. Baby step 5 is where you move from defense, avoiding debt and risk, to offense, where your money starts working for you. And it sets the foundation for the next step, investing in your children's future and your family's legacy. Part 5. Baby step 5. Saving for your children's college. If you've made it this far, it means you're debt-free, you've built your emergency fund, and you're steadily investing for your own future. Now it's time to think beyond yourself, to prepare for the next generation. In America, college is one of the biggest financial burdens families face. According to the College Board, the average tuition for a 4-year public university is about $11,000 per year for in-state students and nearly $30,000 for out-of-state students. For private schools, tuition can easily exceed $40,000 per year. Without early preparation, your children may be forced into the student loan crisis, a weight that already burdens more than 43 million Americans with over $1.6 trillion in debt. Dave Ramsey makes this point clear. Don't let your kids start adult life carrying a ball and chain of student loans. If you can help them attend college debt-free, that's one of the greatest gifts you can ever give them. So, how do you prepare? Ramsey recommends using tax-advantaged savings tools in the U.S., like a 529 college savings plan or an ESA, education savings account. These accounts let you invest your savings, and the growth is tax-free when used for education expenses. For example, if you contribute just $200 a month into a 529 plan starting when your child is born, and it grows at an average of 7% annually, by the time they're 18, you'll have over $77,000. That's enough to cover most in-state tuition at a public university without touching student loans. The key isn't how much money you have today. It's that you start early and stay consistent. Small amounts combined with time and compound interest can completely transform your child's financial future. Baby step 5 also carries a deeper meaning. You're not just building wealth for yourself, you're laying a foundation for the next generation. You're rewriting your family's financial story, from a cycle of debt to a legacy of freedom. That's the power of baby step 5. Not just securing the present, but giving opportunity and freedom to the ones you love most.
Part 6. Baby Step 6. Pay off your home early. For many American families, a home is more than just a place to live. It's also the biggest debt of their lifetime. According to the Federal Reserve, the average U.S. mortgage is around $236,000. That means millions of people will spend 15 to 30 years of their working lives just paying off the house they live in. Dave Ramsey's perspective is clear. Don't spend your whole life in debt. By the time you've reached this step, you've paid off all other debts, built your emergency fund, invested for retirement, and saved for your children's education. Now it's time to attack the final debt, your mortgage. Why does this matter so much? Because once your home is paid off, every dollar you earn is truly yours. No more banks taking a cut, no more interest slowly draining your finances, no more pressure to scrape together the monthly payment just to keep a roof over your head. Imagine this. If you add just $500 extra to your monthly mortgage payment on a 30-year loan, you could cut the term down to about 20 years and save over $60,000 in interest. Add $1,000 extra each month, and you could shave off more than a decade, keeping hundreds of thousands of dollars that would have gone to the bank. Ramsey calls this the paid-off mortgage club, the group of people who completely own their homes. He often reminds us that true wealth isn't measured by income, but by freedom from debt. And the numbers back it up. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, older Americans over 65 who no longer have a mortgage report far greater financial security and peace of mind than those still paying one. Paying off your home isn't just a financial milestone, it's a feeling of absolute freedom. No more chains, no more fear of economic downturns, no more anxiety about job changes. At that point, your home isn't just property, it's a symbol of independence. Baby step 6 is where you complete the picture of financial stability for your family, a fully paid-for home, a future without worry, and a mind completely at peace. Part 7. Baby Step 7. Build wealth and give. If you've made it to this step, it means you've paid off all debt, built your emergency fund, invested consistently, prepared financially for your children, and fully paid off your home. From here, money is no longer something you worry about. Instead, it becomes a tool to build lasting wealth. Dave Ramsey often says, wealth is not the goal, freedom is. But that freedom is sustained by solid wealth. And wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. It's about having more than enough to live comfortably and the ability to share generously. According to Fidelity's 2023 report, Americans who begin investing early and stay consistent for 20 to 30 years are 6 times more likely to reach millionaire status than those who delay just 10 years. This is the power of long-term investing that Ramsey emphasizes. At this stage, your focus shifts to 3 things. Continue investing so your money creates more money, not for show, but to preserve stability for future generations and to live with complete peace of mind. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Travel, shop, experience life in ways you once had to think twice about. But Ramsey reminds us to stay humble. As highlighted in The Millionaire Next Door, most true millionaires in America aren't flashy. They're frugal, modest, and wise with their investments. Give. This is perhaps Ramsey's most powerful message. Wealth is not meant to be hoarded. Giving, through charity, supporting family, or helping your community, brings a deeper joy than money alone ever could. Studies in psychology confirm that people who give regularly, whether money or time, experience higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. With Baby Step 7, you become living proof of disciplined financial stewardship. Free from debt, free from pressure, you not only have wealth to enjoy, but also the ability to make an impact. Dave Ramsey calls this the legacy stage, the stage where you leave a legacy. And that legacy isn't just about money, but about the lessons of how to live, how to handle finances, and how to build true freedom. Money can feel like a heavy burden, but it can also be the doorway to freedom. Dave Ramsey has shown us that with discipline and persistence, anyone can break free from debt and build a life no longer ruled by financial stress. Remember this, money is only a tool. You are the one who decides how to use it.